People's Radio United.
Now, we need to talk about the two most important parts of this segment, which is how to do this right and how to do it safely, because what most people don't think about, and I didn't even think about until you and Michelle pointed this out to me, Andrew, is if you don't collect your footage the right way, it's useless to everybody.
Right.
It's useless in court. It's useless. The news won't take it and show it. And so it's very important that people follow certain steps and that people do certain things and people, respect certain protocols. So we went kind of fast through all that other stuff. That's because I wanted to leave a good hour and 20 minutes for how to do this right and how to do it safely. So let's start on the process of how to do it right. What are the rules and protocol? And then if you can just kind of walk us through a typical scenario where you're going to go and do this, what you need to be doing.
Sure. Yeah. I'll probably get into like a team CopWatch thing first, and then go more towards a sporadic CopWatch later on, if that's fine with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of, you train people in this stuff. Just go ahead and follow kind of the direction you usually go as you take people through this stuff. Definitely.
So I don't think there's any real right way to CopWatch. I would rather have people getting out there no matter what. I can walk you through how I do it and how I train people and how I think is the best way. But what works for my community may not work for yours or other people's. You have to make your own choice of what you want to do in your community. So the way that I do it in my community and that way that I train others to do it in surrounding communities is to get a group of people together. You'll want a lead person with a camera, and you'll want a backup person with a camera to record the lead person in case anything happens to that lead person. And you can have more people. You can have people, walking around passing out know your rights information. That's a great thing to carry with you when you're out cop watching is, a little know your rights cards that tell people their rights and stuff like that. It's a great way to interact with the community to not look you're out there trying to just capture trouble or something like that, or because often you'll walk up on an incident and you have a camera and the person being investigated by the police employees doesn't know why you're there. At least that was the case a few years ago. It may have changed a little now because people are understanding why there's people out there filming the police. But if you say, hey, I'm here, just keeping the police officer in check, and you hand them a know your rights card, that totally changes their demeanor. They now realize that you're there for them, that you're there to help them, and that your intent is to record the police officer and to hold them accountable, not get them in trouble for whatever the police officer is accusing them of. So that to me is a really important thing. Another thing that people should do is always stay in contact with each other when they're out cop watching. It's easy nowadays with text messaging, cell phone, stuff like that. Back in the day, people had to do this with walkie-talkies and stuff like that, and it was a little harder. Some people choose to go out wearing cop watch shirts or like orange or yellow vests, stuff like that with identifying labels on them that says cop watch or something on that. I have done that in the past. It makes it a lot easier for people to understand what's going on. If you have a shirt that says cop watch on it, they'll get it more. They'll understand that you're not working with the police, that you're helping them. I personally recommend not to get involved in this situation. Your job as a cop watcher is not to yell at the police. It's not to try to intimidate the police. It's just to capture that the interaction as peacefully as possible. I mean, you don't have to get involved in something that might be above your head, that you don't totally understand. Like there's times that I've walked up on situations where I thought it was, you know, a cop harassing someone, but it turned out to be medical attention. So, you know, it probably wouldn't have been the best to yell at the police at that point in time. So it's probably best to, you know, just stand back and just film. And that also helps out in court, because if you're out there yelling at a police officer and swearing at them, the jury's mind may be a little changed by that. So it's best just to, you know, pretty much keep quiet. There are some things that you should say on film, though. You should call out squad car numbers if you can, the time of day, the date it happened, badge numbers if you can see them. And if you're in a place where you really don't know where you are, you can call it landmarks. You can say, hey, we're outside of, you know, Bob's Pizza Parlor. And that can help get the location where it was taking place. And there are many community organizations that if you come to them and say, hey, at 8:15 on Tuesday outside of Bob's Pizza, I saw this incident happen. Those organizations can go down and pull up some data, some police reports on that incident, and find out more about what happened. Find out who you recorded, and get that video to their attorney if something should happen. So that's one of my big things right there. Is just kind of remain just quiet, not interacting. Definitely afterwards, you should try to talk to the person that the police employee was investigating or whatever, and hand them a know your rights card and introduce yourself. One thing that I really like to do is offer them a copy of the content I captured in case they want it. It's really easy to burn something onto a CD or a flash drive or even email it to them. So that to me really would calm someone down and help them, because if they might not want a copy of it on the spot, because they might be shooken up because they just had a police interaction, but maybe later they'd want that footage for whatever purpose they want. If they want to fight something in court, or if they just want to have it. I mean, if you spent the time to record that police interaction, the least you can do is send the person that you recorded a copy of the footage.
Right. That's they're going to need it, So you have people out, and you have a lead camera, and then you have a backup camera. Ideally, you have people handing out know your rights flyers too, which is a good thing, because then in addition to the two cameras, there's other witnesses around as well. And one thought that occurs to me when you talk about people handing out flyers is it does, when somebody's walking by and they get a flyer, it does say, hey, remember that problem with police brutality you've been hearing about? And remember the, well, that might be happening here. So pay attention, so it gets more eyes on the situation. And it just reminds people that there's a problem, and the problem's so bad that people are actually taking time out of their day and going out with cameras, which there's other things we'd all rather be doing.
Right.
Because this is such a problem. So I really like the whole thing of handing out the flyers, having people there handing out flyers in addition to the thing with two cameras. Now, you have two cameras. Typically, the lead camera person is safe because there's another camera on them. have you seen cops still in that situation try to thwart that situation, or is that a pretty secure thing, or is there other things people can do as well and should do in order to, I don't know, I guess I've never gone out myself with another person, so I don't know. I know that would make the situation safer. How much safer does it make it? And is there other things you should do as well to ensure safety at that point?
Sure. I mean, in my opinion, it makes it a lot safer just because you have that backup. I have acted both as lead and second camera person many times. If I'm second camera person, I'll step back quite a bit. Like I don't want to be noticed as that second camera person, just in case something happens to that first camera person. So yeah, people can get right up in there, or they can hold back. I mean, to me, it's all what a person is comfortable with themselves. I mean, some people are comfortable getting 5 feet away from an incident. Some people are more comfortable sitting in their car and just having it on their dashboard. To me, it's all up to the individual. I would never press someone to do anything that they weren't absolutely comfortable with. But I've seen it a lot. I've seen the police interactions go a lot smoother when there's more visible cameras to capture any potential misconduct. So I would recommend, someone being 10 feet away from what's going on, and someone being about 30 feet away from what's going on. The second camera person about 30 feet away. And I've seen that thwart more bad actions than anything else, because they know if they take away. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your thought. Then I'll ask. Sure.
Because they know if they take away that first person's camera, there's a second camera capturing that happening, and it just they're not likely to risk that image of them, like I said, being on the 5 o'clock news. It's just something that they just don't want.
And with live streaming today, would you say like a person doesn't really have to worry about if they're on second camera, they don't really have to worry about it being visible, because like cops are aware of the possibility that video might be live? Because like a thought that jumped into my head right away when I first heard about 2 cameras is well, if the cops go after the first camera, they're already going someplace they shouldn't. Are they going to go after the second camera? Is that an experience that you've ever had or you've ever seen, or is that something that a person really shouldn't be too concerned about? I've never had that experience personally. I've seen it on video. I've only had my camera taken away one time, and one thing that I've learned is to always live stream in some way. Sometimes I'll just have it live, a cell phone live streaming in my pocket, just to record the audio. But live streaming is definitely something I recommend to use in conjunction with just regular taking video. Even if it's that person, that second camera, great. Or even if it's a camera in your pocket or a cell phone in your pocket, live streaming, great. Live streaming is absolutely necessary nowadays, just because police officers are taking away cameras. They have, and they'll continue to. So yeah, live streaming is an essential part of CopWatch right now, I think. And since you mentioned live streaming again, earlier you had talked about using Bamboozer. I know for a lot of people, the live stream service of choice is Livestream. You definitely prefer Bamboozer. From what I understand, they're both good services, but in your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each, just to kind of help people figure out? And then is there other live streaming services people can consider?
I mean, yeah, there are tons of live streaming services out there. I recommend Bamboozer just because it has a really simple user interface, and it has never malfunctioned on me. I've had other services malfunction on me or shut down or not capture certain things. Audio quality is also a huge thing to me. I like good audio quality, just because if that's used in court, you want the jury to hear what's being said. So that's why I choose Bamboozer myself. If someone wants to live stream with a different service, that's totally fine. I'm not going to chastise them for that at all. As long as they're using a live stream service, that's to me all that matters. It's just I prefer Bamboozer just from my user experience.
Okay, and then I'm wondering, when you're live streaming, is there anything that you do with your phone to make the live stream more effective, to make sure that the live stream isn't breaking up, between you and wherever it's going? Anything to get stronger signal strength or anything like that people can consider doing?
Like if I'm going out actively cop watching in a group, I'll bring a battery backup with me and plug it into my cell phone just to make sure that I don't run out of batteries on it. That's the thing that's happened to me in the past. I've learned to carry a battery backup with me for those instances. There's no real way to improve signal strength in some areas. Some areas you just kind of have to go with whatever you can get for a signal. Unfortunately, there's no real signal boosters that are easy to carry with you. You know what I mean? So I just say bring a battery backup. Make sure you don't run out of battery. That's a huge thing, especially if you're like live streaming from like a protest or something like that. You'll want that battery backup because your phone will drain very quickly live streaming.